Hello and welcome to this beginner tutorial series for Autodesk Maya. Today we're going to be covering three main topics. First topic being camera movement, second topic creating primitive objects, and third translating objects. So when you first open Autodesk Maya, this is what you'll see, and it can be pretty overwhelming. But what you want to do is just mostly ignore all of this and just focus on this main scene right here in the middle. This is called the Viewport, and this is where you're going to see most of everything that you're doing. So don't worry about all these buttons and everything going on over here. We'll get to all that right now. Just focus on the Viewport. First thing you're going to want to do, just to see something happen, is go up here under the Poly Modeling tab and just click this little cube right here. And what that's going to do is create a little cube right there in the middle of your screen. And so already you've created something within Maya, so great job, you're already on your way. So first up is camera movement. You're going to probably want to left click and drag or right click and drag and nothing's happening. So how do you rotate the camera? Well, in Autodesk Maya it's a little different than most other programs. You're going to want to hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then left click and drag. And now you're going to see that you're rotating around the cube in the center of the screen. And then let go, and it stops rotating. Okay, next up is how do you zoom in and out? That one you might have accidentally done. If you roll the middle mouse button, you'll zoom in and out. Although there is an alternative to this that is probably better that you're going to want to do most of the time, because the scroll wheel zooms in and out in small little increments, as you can see, like this. So that's not very precise. So instead what you're going to want to do is again hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then hold down the right mouse button on your mouse and then move in and out or up and down. And as you can see, I'm zooming in and out, and that's much smoother. It's not in little increments like this. Okay, so you know how to rotate, and you know how to zoom in and out. So next, how do you pan? To pan the camera, again, hold down Alt on your keyboard, and then press down the middle mouse button, and then move up, down, left, right. So in the beginning this is going to seem kind of weird and a little awkward, but you'll get used to it and eventually you'll be able to move around the scene extremely quickly and it'll be very, very natural to you. Okay, next little tip here is if you're ever moving around like this and you get lost and you have no clue where you are, go ahead and press the F button on your keyboard and that will instantly reframe whatever object you last had selected. So F for frame, and that's how you get back to your object and you get back to your scene and you're not lost anymore. Okay, so we've created a primitive object. This here is a primitive object. That's any of these default objects up here that you can create. Just by clicking on here, you'll make one of these. So if I click on this sphere, here's the sphere, and it's created it on top of the cube, so the cube is actually underneath the sphere. We can't see it anymore. So how do we move the sphere out of the way so we can see the cube again? So that's what translating means. When you translate an object, it's basically moving it or rotating it or scaling it in any of the axes. So to move this sphere, we're going to hit W on the keyboard, and that brings up these axes. So I can just simply click and hold on this axis and then move in the direction that I want the sphere to go. So now the sphere is out of the way and we can see this cube again that we have. Then let's say we want to rotate this cube. We can hit E and then we have these different axes. If we click on this red axis, we can rotate the cube. And then finally we can scale the cube. So hit R on the keyboard. And now if we click here in the center, that's going to scale our cube up or down in all axes at once. So we make the cube bigger or smaller. Can also scale the cube in just one axis, so I can make it longer, I can make it taller, and I can make it thicker, or all at once. So just with these couple of tools, you can already start moving things around, scaling them, rotating them, and you may actually be able to make something like this just by creating several different primitive objects and moving them together and creating something. Okay, so that's the end of this first tutorial video. Thank you for watching, and in the next video we'll talk about how to extrude and do other things like that so that we can start making our own unique models that are not just primitive objects.